Hey, welcome everybody. This is Tony Porter, Universal Baseball Association YouTube channel. Hope you're doing well. You know, I'm replaying Fall Classic, using Fall Classic 1974, and it's the Kansas City Royals versus the Oakland Athletics. Of course, the Oakland Athletics were the world champions that year. They played the World Series against the Dodgers. So far in this season, I'm up to about 60 games. I got 20 to go, approximately to the halfway point. And then I'll look at stats and I'll do a show on just on the stats. The Royals are 35-28 and the A's are 42-24. So the A's are ahead of the Kansas City Royals. In this game, we will see Bruce Dalcantin on the mound for the Royals. And let's take a quick look at Dalcantin's stats for the season. We'll look at him when he comes on the mound. Right now, it is the Kansas City Royals starting off with Freddie Patek, the 5'4" shortstop. He is a feisty one. He does make contact and he's speedy for sure. It's Dave Hamilton for the A's, and Dave Hamilton has a 3.29 ERA and a 4-2 record. He has 10 games started. So just a heads up on that, on where Dave Hamilton, how Dave Hamilton is doing in this season, and then we'll talk about Bruce Dalcantin when he gets on the mound. All right, let's roll some dice in this game. You roll 2 d6s and then of course a d20. D20 will give you the out. So there's really minimal charts. That's a 44. That's a hard hit ground ball, and that's through for a base hit. It's a single, and not only is it a single, but he's going to get a chance to steal. So what I do here, and this is in the rules, right? I'm going to roll 1 die. If it's a 1, there's a pickoff chance, and then he doesn't go. Okay, so he will go. Now, I could use that 14, and I will use that 14, and I will look. He's a 14. So the catcher, tennis his arm. Now, a lot of catchers don't have a strong arm or a weak arm. It's your average arm. In his case, he, as a catcher, he has an average arm, so there's no change. There goes Patek, the throw down from tennis, and he is safe at second base with a single and a stolen base for Freddie Patek, and that puts a runner in scoring position for Cookie Rojas. The pitch from Dave Hamilton, and that's going to be a 36, and it's a blank on Rojas' card. So then we go over to Dave Hamilton, and it tells us an out. Then we look at the D20, that's a fly ball left field, and under it is Rudy. And it would be a sacrifice fly, but it won't, to left field, he's not going to tag up here. And on second base, he's not going to tag up to left field. All right, so here's Jim Wolford batting third. Wolford on the season has played pretty much the whole season. Batting .214, in reality he batted .270, so he's underperforming. Here's the pitch. 23, and he swings and misses at a high fastball. So Wolford strikes out. That's 2 outs, and Patek still at second base. And here's Big John Mayberry. Mayberry with a .250 average in the replay. In reality, batted .234. He's batting a little bit higher. Here's the pitch, and that's normal for all games. A little bit higher, a little bit lower, and it's a bouncer to first base. And it's Darren Johnson. Takes it himself and that retires. Decided to go to the bottom of the first. No score with the A's coming to bat. Bruce Dalcantin. He's got 67 innings pitched, 8 starts, 2.14 ERA, and a 4-3 record. So he's done outstanding so far. He does have his C stuff today, not good. Does not have his best stuff. Let's see what he can do, though. That does not mean, does not always mean a whole lot. Here's Bill North leading off. All right, so sorry for the dogs, but it is time for dinner. So here's Bill North, and here's the pitch from Bruce Dalcantin, a 54. That's going to take us to the 54 chart. So we're going to pull a card on this one, and all it says is bases empty, pop up to shortstop. It's a rain out check. I don't do those, so that'll be the first out of the inning. Patek calls for it, and North pops up. Now Bert Campaneris batting .264. In reality, batted .290. And it's a 55. That's going to be a drive, base hit, cut off, and Campaneris with a big turn, and Cowens gets it in to Patek, but that is a single for Campaneris, and he will not be stealing on a 55. single. I use the automatic system, and it works very well. Here's Sal Bando, third place batter for the Oakland A's, batting .224. He was a .243 hitter. The pitch from Dal Canton is a 41. That should be a base on balls, and it is. Ball 4. Bando walks, and that puts 2 men on, 1 out. Here's Reggie Jackson. Jackson with 11 home runs. He hit, that season, he hit 29. He has a .345 batting average, and he only batted .289. So he's gotten off to a torrid start here, raking up to this point in the season, which, you know, can change, right? I've played half seasons where the guy was batting .400, and he ends up with a .300 batting average by the end of the season. Barely. All right, so here's Reggie Jackson with 2 men on, and Bruce Dal Canton will proceed with caution. And that's a 44. That's going to be a drive, and it's a base hit in the gap. And that's going to move runners over 2 bases. Going to third is Bando, and that's an RBI single for Reginald Martinez Jackson on that 44 row. So the A's take an early lead, 1-0 here. 1 out, runners on first and third. Infield's going to play back. Here's Joe Rudy. And the pitch to Rudy, that's a 16, and that's a hard hit ball right at shortstop. Patek flips to Rojas, over to Mayberry, and it's a 6, 4, 3 double play. 1-0, A's top of the second. Hal McRae, 41, and that's a walk. Al Cowens is next. The pitch to Cowens is a 35, and that'll be a ground ball. Let's see if the second baseman Green has a strong arm, which I think he does. He does. That's going to be a 6-4-3. They turn it. 2 outs. So they erase the leadoff walk. And here's Vega Pinson, lefty hitter with a 46. That's going to be a ballpark. No ballpark home runs, but that's a drive, and that's going to drop in there for a base hit. It's going to get by North off the wall, and digging for second is Pinson. And he makes it in there with a 2-out double. Here's Fran Healy. Steps in the box. He bats from both sides, switch hitter. Batting from the right side against the lefty Hamilton. Here's the pitch. And that's a 44. That is rip base hit. And let's see on a 9. Will the runners score? Yeah, 2 outs. There's a play at home. Right fielder, Reggie Jackson. There will be a play at home. So this is where this game is fantastic. It allows you to both have that influence, that strong arm influence, but also collect the assists that you should get. So it's going to be an A3. Now, you could adjust for speed and so on. Slow guys lose 1, and faster guys gain 1. There's 2 outs. I don't do any of that. I just play it straight up out of the box. So we're gonna roll 1 to 3, and he is out at home. Otherwise, he is safe. And Fran Healy, he's slow, so he will not be taking the extra base. And that's it. He is safe at home plate. So it's a base hit, and a game is tied. So Fran Healy ties up the game with a 2-out single, and here's George Brett. And the pitch, it's a 43, and that's an out. That's going to be ripped to center field, but right there is North, and that retires the side. All right. So this is a great game. If you play APA or if you play Stratomatic, Basic, if you like basic games, but you wish there was just a little bit more without the complexities and the twists and turns and the learning curve, this is your game. So if you want an advanced game that plays like a basic APA or basic Strat, this is the answer. All right, so there's no, as you've seen, I haven't used the chart yet. Darren Johnson against Bruce Dal Canton here in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a 32, and a 32. Okay, it's going to be an out. A fly ball in the gap on the run is Cowens, and Cowens runs it down. One away. Gene Tennis, one of my favorite players. Righty, 43, and that'll be a base on balls. So Tennis walks. He's on at first. And Angel Mangual, and it's a snake eyes, and that's a ground ball. Rojas flips the Patek over to first, double play. So we've had 3 double plays so far in 2 innings. So Freddie Patek now against Dave Hamilton. The pitch, and a 64 will be it's ripped and caught by Green at second. 1 away. We're in the top of the third, 1 out. Cookie Rojas is up. A 56, and that should be a swing and a miss. Curveball gets him. Way out in front. Jim Wolford steps in the box. He's ready to go. Hamilton gets a sign from tennis. The pitch, and that's a 61. Strike 3 called, and he goes down on strikes. Easy inning, 3 up, 3 down, bottom of the third. Dick Green leads off. It's a 53. That's going to be a range play with an 8. Who's that going to be to? It's going to be to the shortstop. Patek should get that. He dives for it, and he comes up with it over to first in time. Great play by Freddie Patek. A web gem. Flashing that leather. Freddie. North. Bill North with 1 out, excuse me. And it's a 62, and that will be a grounded to short. Patek. 2 down. Bert Campaneris. Campaneris batted 267, batted 290, as I said earlier today. In the first inning when he came up, 61, and that'll be a swing and a miss, and he strikes out top of the fourth. John Mayberry steps to the plate. He's a lefty with a 54. And we're going to pull a card, and that says check for right fielder. That's a 12 to see if there's an error out there. And then I would check with the exotic chart, but a 12 I think is going to be too high on Reggie. And a right field, he's an 11, so just that 12 just prevented that error from very close. So that's a fly ball to right, and Reggie bobbles it for a second there, but grabs onto it. And here is Hal McRae with 1 out. 14, and that's a ground ball up the middle. Campaneris gets there, spins, throws to first in time. 2 out. Al Cowens, fast, righty hitter, 65. That's a potential. Nope, it won't be a home run. It would come off of, nope. That's a fly ball center field. And North backs up a few steps, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. And you get the ballpark card here as well, something that, of course, you don't get with those basic games. Here you get a ballpark card, very easy to follow. 17 to 19 are always, you're trying to stretch it to a double. And then, of course, you got the home runs in the different parks and so on and so forth. Then you got the foul balls, where you got a lot of foul area territory here in Alameda County Coliseum. So what does that mean? That means there's a lot of pop-up outs, right? All the way from 6 to 16, you can foul out here. So great game. Greg Sovan, rest in peace, outstanding game. You get every season. It's got all the players for every season. So here's Sal Bando. And Bando with a 15, and that'll be bounce to third. Brett, strong throw, 1 away. Reggie Jackson up next. And the pitch, a 41, that should be a base on balls, and it is. So he walks. And here's Joe Rudy with a 36, and a 36 is a grounded short. And Patek flips to Rojas, no throw to first as Reggie goes in hard. That's 2 away, and it's Rudy on at first. And here's Darren Johnson, pitch, and a 53. That'll be a 17. And who's that to? That's a drive in the gap in the outfield. And no, it's actually a liner that Pinson is going to come up to, and he's not going to get that. So it drops in front of him. They're going to hold Rudy. This is a hard hit line drive that Pinson hesitated on, and Rudy dropped it in right in front of him. So, in right field, Pinson is a 10, and I rolled a 17. Oh, actually, on a 53, I got to roll again. Oh, he still may get that. He makes a diving play, and he comes up with it. Veda Pinson, what a play. So here I got to erase the last play. I gave him a single. So Darren Johnson gets robbed by the right fielder, Pinson. So you have to roll again because the first roll is called a KD check, right? The first roll is called a KD check, and that's to see if there is going to be a defensive play because the pitcher may strike him out. And some pitchers like Nolan Ryan will strike out a lot of guys, right? All right, so Veda Pinson comes up to the plate here in the top of the fifth. It's all tied at 1. 1-3-0 for the Royals and 1-2-0 for the A's. Here's the pitch. Veda Pinson, 56, strike 3 called, and Pinson goes down looking. Here is Fran Healy, who's single, 32, and he should actually, that single should have been. I thought there was a potential steal there before, and I forgot to run with him. 32, but I will not lose sleep over that, guys. 32 is a blank, and a 32 is a fly ball left field. Under it is Rudy, 2 away. Here's George Brett. And a 41 will be a base on balls, and Brett, showing his patience at the plate, is rewarded with a walk. He stands at first base, and here's Freddie Patek batting 240. He's a 225 hitter, so he's about 15 points ahead. And that is a 14, and a fly ball left field in the gap. Rudy on the run, and Rudy comes up with it. Read that well right off the bat and tracked it. And we go to the bottom of the fifth, still tied at 1. Here's Gene Tennis. And a 32. A 32 will be a fly ball left field down the line, and Wolford makes a nice running catch. Angel Mangwal with a 61. Strike 3. Swings and misses at a high fastball, and Green with 2 outs. Dick Green. Dick Green is really, really struggling. 73 at bats, 24 games, batting 100. He's a 200 hitter. Can't buy a hit at 14. Will not get it. That's a high fly center field. Al Cowens. 3 outs. Top of the 6th. Here we come. Cookie Rojas. 41. Ball 4. All right. And Wolford will bunt. And the first one's for the bunt's got to be less than 4. It is. And then that's foul back. We're going to do it again. And the first one is his 4. And then it's to the pitcher. Pitcher, does he have a strong arm? No. So that will be a good bunt to the pitcher. All right. So that moves the runner to second base, and up comes John Mayberry to pitch. A 36, and that'll be a high fly center field. Now Rojas, is he fast? Because he will tag up if he's fast. I don't know that he is. He is not. He is average. So he will fly out to center field. And Rojas fakes the tag. There's 2 outs now, and here's Hal McRae. Hal McRae batted .310 in the season. He's batting .303 in the replay. Here's the pitch, and that's a 21. Will be a ground ball first base, and he'll flip to the pitcher covering a 3-1, and that retires the side. They leave 1. It's all tied at 1. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Here is Bill North. Bill North batting .257, 260 hitter. Here's the pitch. A 56, and that'll be strike 3. Curveball gets him. Bert Campaneris is next with a 65. That's a -10, and that'll be a fly ball center field. 2 out. No home run there. And Sal Bando with a 14, and that'll be a hard hit ball center field. Cowens right there, and he puts it away. Top of the 7th. 1-1. Cowens with a 46. That's going to be a ballpark result. 46, no home runs there. 13 is going to be popped up. He's a righty, so that's going to be popped up to the right side. Darren Johnson calling for it in foul territory, and he makes the catch. F03. 1 away. Here's Veda Pinson. 300 hitter, about a 280 in reality. 65. -2. A 1-7 is gone, and that's a fly ball right field. Jackson backs up to the track, leaps, and makes the catch. Reggie Jackson robs Veda Pinson of a home run. And 2 outs, and here's Healy with a 15 and a fly ball to center. Backing up is North. He's under it, and that retires the side. Bottom of the 7th. The nice thing about these older seasons, you can run these pitchers, out there and keep them in the game, and it doesn't shake up the stats too much. All right, so Dal Canton completed half his starts. Hamilton only had 1 complete game, so the first guy I'll pull will be Hamilton. And of course, the A's have a much better bullpen. So here's Reggie Jackson. Here's a guy that can change the course of the game with one swing of the bat. And here's the pitch. A 51 is going to be a swing and a miss. Oh no, that's even though it's low, it won't. We're going to roll again for a possible error. Let's see. A 12. 51 is on the pitcher. Dal Canton is an error of a 5, so he'll make that play. Bobbles it for a second, whips it to first in time. Joe Rudi, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th, 1-1 the score, 62, and it's a grounded to short, easy play for Patek. 2 down. Darren Johnson. Johnson's batting 180, was a 190 hitter. And a 36, and that'll be a high fly, left field. So I got two pitchers now who are in their 5th inning. I usually make it 5th inning, I move them up one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gone 5. They both have gone 5. So Dal Canton is going to be an average, his B stuff now because he's gone 5. And Hamilton is tiring. So let's take a look. He can go 27. Let's see how many he's gone. But the helper tells me, yeah, he's 26. So we're going to pull him. We're going to pull Hamilton here. Well, Brett is a lefty. Let him face the lefty. Here's the pitch. And that's a 22. And that's ripped base hit center field. A rope off the bat of Brett, who is an up-and-coming star for sure. We can start it. He batted 282 in that season. And then he just goes up from there and eventually wins the batting title. He was some kind of hitter. So that's going to be it for Hamilton. We're going to the bullpen. We're going to click on that, and we're going to bring in. Who are we going to bring in? Okay, so all these guys are my starters. So we're going to go with. Fingers had 18 saves, but also had 76 appearances. We're going to go with. We're going to go with Fingers here. We're going to go with Raleigh Fingers. Just because I have lefties in there, and I'm not going to go into. I have a lot of righties coming up, but we could see pinch hitters as well. But I'm going to. Sometimes I look and I see he had 18 saves, but he had 80 appearances, right? So he was not always used to 2, so he's going to have his A stuff. He was not always used just to save games back in the day. They would also use these pitchers to go a couple of innings in close games, 2, 3, 4 innings even. So Freddie Patek, excellent bunter. So let's see what happens. That is a 45. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. Bunted to the pitcher. Finger spins, throws to second, and they get him. So it's a 1-4 fielder's choice for Patek. And he's on at first. Here's Rojas, and he's an excellent hit and run guy. So we're going to send him. There he goes, and that's an 11. What did I do with that? An 11 is going to be a high fly to left. Runner returns safely. If he's an A, Rojas is an A. And if he is batting average of 300 plus, and I use either the replay or the season, neither, so he will get a fly out. All right. And here's Jim Woolford with 2 out, 1 on. Top of the 8th, 1-1 the score. And that's a 26, and that's against a lefty, would be a hit. And that's a hard hit fly ball. Center field on the run is North, and North catches up to it. And I could have pitch hit for Woolford, but I did not choose to do that. Here's Gene Tennis leading off against Bruce Dal Canton, who's still in the game. He's doing well. He's got his B stuff now. That's a 23, and strike 3 called. Angel Mangual, 232 in the replay, 233 in reality. 23, strike 3, back-to-back Ks. And Dick Green, you know what? Dick Green's an excellent fielder. That's the only thing. He's got great, doesn't make many errors, excellent arm, very good range. So I keep him in there for defense, so I'm not going to pinch it for him with 2 outs. 42, and that'll be a base on balls. And that will bring up Bill North with a runner on first. 2 outs. Pitch from Dal Canton, a 26, and that's a base hit. With a 13, runner will go F 2 bases. is Green F. Now you could turn him into an F with 2 outs. I don't do that. I play more conservatively. So they're going to hold him up at second base. That puts runners on first and second. And we're going to go to the bullpen. I just got a red alert, but that red alert does not always coincide with. But you see, the helper keeps track. In other words, I can't be aware of if Dal Canton, has gone the last few games and gone 7 innings in the last few games, and now the helper keeps an average, so it'll tell you. Sometimes it'll tire pitchers out a little sooner because of the totality of their innings throughout the season. So, which means is, let's say a guy in reality went 3 innings, 5 innings, 4 innings, and 3 innings, and at the end of the first month he's got 20 innings pitched. But in my game, for whatever reason, the dice and so on and so forth, he's gone more. He's gone 7 innings, 8 innings, 6 innings, and 9 innings. Well, now guess what? Up to that point in the season, he's got way more. And if he keeps on pitching that way, then he's going to run out of starts. He's going to run out of innings. So what the game does is starts warning me about an inning earlier. Hey, this guy's tiring out because his totality of innings is. So that's what a helper will do. Something that you would not normally have if you just kept all the stats by hand. So there's a lot of advantages to this. Plus, I have a tendency to get carried away with stuff, and I play a lot of different games, and I get distracted with different things. So this game tells me, hey, there's 2 outs. It's not me scribbling on a piece of paper trying to decipher what I wrote. Campaneris is at bat. Who's pitching and what is his condition? He's looking tired now, according to so he's got 28, and he can go 34. Batter's face start at 34, so I can push him a little bit. I don't want to push him, like I said. He's red. So let me go to the bullpen here and then bring somebody out. Who's up? Bill North, the switch hitter, is up. So we got Bird. We're gonna bring in Bird. Bird is a word. All right, we're gonna bring in Doug Bird. And we'll see what kind of stuff he will have. And he will have his B stuff. So Bird with his B stuff against Bill North. 2 out, runner in scoring position. Oh wait, Bill North is on base. Bill North is on base, so it's Campaneris, also a righty. All right, let's do it. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be a 54. Oh boy, with runners on base. So that becomes, with men on base, a possible pickoff by the catcher. Catcher Healy, what kind of arm does he have? So he's going to try to catch Green off guard at second base. He's an A, so he will be 1-4. Green gets picked off, and the throw down, and he is safe. Dives back into second base. All right. So here's Campaneris again with first and second and 2 out. The pitch from Doug Bird. He's got his B stuff. Pitch at 61, and that'll be strike 3. And that ends the inning. So Bird comes in and strikes out Campaneris. We go to the top of the 9th, all tied at 1. 1-4-0 for the Royals. 1-3-0 for the A's. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel and join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group. Also the Fall Classic Facebook group. Also the Sports Illustrated Facebook group. And the Do-It-Yourself Stratomatic Facebook group. And all the groups that are available out there. Here's the Pitch Facebook group, and on and on and on. All right, John Mayberry leads off against Raleigh Fingers, and the pitch, and the 32 will be a drive in the gap, and that's going to split the outfielder and roll to the wall. Digging for second is Mayberry. Here's the throw, the tag by Green, and he is safe. Double for John Mayberry. He's got decent speed at an A. Here's Hal McRae. And we're going to intentionally walk Hal McRae because he can hit for sure. So let's do an IBB here. So we're going to intentionally walk him, set up the double play. Al Cowan's going to try to bunt. He squares, and that is going to be a good bunt back to the pitcher. And Raleigh Finger's arm is average, so there's no adjustment there. So it's going to be a sack to the pitcher, puts runners on second and third. Here's Pinson, and we are also going to walk Pinson. And that's going to bring up Fran Healy, who's bats. I think he's a switch hitter. But no, that's not. He's not. He's a righty hitter. So we're going to call on a pinch hitter here. We're going to call on Tony Solita. So Tony Solita, the lefty. And let's see if we can have him available. There he is. He's protected. Everybody over 100 at bats gets put into a sleeve. Excuse me. So Tony Solita, Raleigh Fingers, bases loaded. We're gonna have to bring the infield in here. Try to go home. And that always an 11. That's gonna be a high fly, left field. Joe Rudy with a 17 on this. There's an assist chance with Mayberry. He's going to tag up. And let's see what, left field. Oh, if he's going to tag up. That's the question. With one out, I'm probably going to tag him out. So there's going to be a play at the plate. And here's the throw, and 1, 2, 3, and he's out, and he is out at the plate. Double play, fly ball left field. Rudy gets behind it, gets his momentum going forward, throws a strike to the catcher Tennis, who tags out Mayberry. Not the speediest of the guys, but again, it would have made a difference, because he would have made a difference if I had even a faster guy there. Because it does give me a +1 for a speedy guy, but it still would have been, it had to be a 4, 5, or 6 for him to have been safe. All right, so it's a fly ball left field, and then, of course, the throw home. 7-2, runner is out at home. And we go to the bottom of the ninth, all tied at 1. We need a new catcher, and who are we going to call on? Oh, this is another thing. I don't have a catcher. No catchers available. Let's see what's going on. Hold on a second. Mayberry, Rojas. Let's see. I need somebody who can catch. This happens every so often. It happens a lot more than. So Collins can't catch. This guy can't catch. So let's go. Let's look and see. Brett can't catch. Ponteg's not gonna. Rojas. Nope. Not a catcher, so I'm going to have a makeshift catcher, because there is no other catcher on the roster, and this happens to me quite frequently with Replay Baseball. I don't understand how they're doing this, how they're keeping track of. Let's see. Hold on a second. Before I start babbling, let me see. Yeah, there's no other catchers on here. So I got Mayberry, who can play first. Otis is in center field, right? No, Otis is not playing. So Otis, White is not playing either. So these are my guys that aren't playing. Shine Bloom is an outfielder. I'm going to put Shine Bloom behind the plate. Oh, you know what? Floyd plays all the infield positions. Let's put him back there. So now I got a guy that doesn't play catcher. There's no way they had only one catcher. There's just no way. It doesn't make any sense. Something is wrong with the rosters. That's the thing that I've noticed. If I looked at, you know what? Let me just look at something here real quick. I'm going to check the other game. All right, well, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that right now. There's bigger fish to fry. But let's look at Sal Bando. He's at the plate against Doug Bird. Let's see if I can get a conclusion to this game. It's getting to be dinner time. That's going to be a bouncer to Patek, 1 down. Here's Reggie Jackson, and that's a 23. Strike 3. Blows a fastball by Jackson. Corkscrews himself into the ground. Here's Rudy with 2 out, and that's a 52. No strikeout. That could be an error. 52 to the third baseman. It's going to be a 2-base error potentially against George Brett, who bats 9. So there is a card that you look at for this, but I don't look at that. So he's an 8. I roll an 8. So that's going to be, he's going to rush it, and he throws over the head of Mayberry, and it goes into the dugout. That will be an extra base. So it's going to be a 2-base error on putting Rudy in scoring position with the winning run. And here comes Darren Johnson. We're going to look and see. We're going to call on Pat Burke. Let's call on Pat Burke here, a lefty hitter. And Burke has 96, so he has no sleeve. Pat Burke, now I could walk him, and then who will I be facing, right? If I walk Burke, I will be facing Gene Tenace, which I definitely don't want to do. I'd rather pitch to Burke with 2 outs than Gene Tenace, even though Burke hits righties very well. All right, let's do this. Here's the pitch. And that's a snake eyes, which will be a line drive caught by the pitcher, Bird, and that retires the side. So ripped up the middle, and Bird in self-defense. Now I need a new first baseman, and it will be Burke at first base. All right, here is George Brett leading off in the top of the 10th inning. Free baseball, my friends. Free baseball. Raleigh Fingers still good to go. Keeping them in there. 51, no strikeout there. We're going to roll. That's an error possibility with a 6. 51 is a shortstop, Campaneris. So ground ball to Campy. Will he boot it? Yes! Booted by Campaneris. And he rushes the throw and in the dirt, and it scoots by the first baseman, Burke. And that's going to be a 2-base error on the shortstop, putting the go-ahead run at second base with nobody out. Here's Freddie Patek. Now, I don't bunt with guys in scoring position. In other words, I'm not going to bunt them over to third. Just not going to do that. So I'm going to let him get over there and so forth. Let's see what happens. Here's the pitch from Fingers. 14, and that's a fly ball right field. Tagging up will be Brett, and he will get over there. So it's going to be an F9 runner, safe at third. And here comes Rojas. So we're going to have to bring the infield in here. It's the pitch, and it's a 24, which is a hit by pitch number, but it's going to be popped up. Middle infield. And that is second baseman. Green calls for it. He makes the catch. That's 2 away now. And up is Wolford, and we're going to pinch hit for Wolford. We don't have any other. We have a switch hitter, Scheinblum. Let's call on Scheinblum to pinch hit. Now, Wolford is a much better hitter than Scheinblum, so you know what? I'm going to skip that. Even though Scheinblum does have the advantage on the splits advantage, I'm going to stick with Wolford. He has a better chance of getting a hit. Here's the pitch from Fingers. Infield is playing back now. The pitch, and a 54. That's a 54. And Raleigh Fingers, has a lot of control. Does not throw a lot of wild pitches. But with a runner on first, men on base, and that's going to be wild pitcher pass ball. So it's number 10, and that's going to be a ball that's prevented from getting past the catcher, right? And we continue the game. So here's going to be the pitch. 24, and that's a hit by pitch on an 8. That's high fly, center field, and that is north. And that'll be out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 10th. Doug Bird is still in there. He still's got the endurance. Keep him in there. Gene Tenace up. Pitch. And a 34 will be a ground ball up the middle, and that's a base hit. And Tenace is fast, so gonna bunt. Oh no, can't bunt with this guy. Angel Mangual. Let's see, can we pinch hit? We got a switch hitter, Ted Kubiak. We're going to call on Kubiak. I like Kubiak. But then I lose my center fielder. Who can I use out there? Yeah, I could put Jackson out there and put somebody in right. But I'm gonna let Mangual bat. Is he a hit and run guy? Nope. Here's the pitch. And that's a 56, a strike 3 called. Dick Green now. Dick Green is a good bunter, and he will bunt. First one, that's a good bunt. That's 3. That's the first baseman. So it's bunted to first base, and Mayberry will play it. That puts Tennis into scoring position, and it's Bill North. And here's the pitch, and that is a 35, which will be an out, which will be a grounded to short. Patek gets there in the hole, long throw in time, and that retires the side. We go to the top of the 11th. All right, guys, Paul Lindblad's in for Fingers, and he's going to be facing the lefty John Mayberry. We're in the top of the 11th. It's a 1-1 tie. It's 1-5-1 for the Royals and 1-4-1 for the hometown Oakland Athletics, the 74 world champs. All right, so let's roll, see what happens. Here's a pitch from Lindblad, and that's a 15, which will be a bouncer to the first baseman, and he'll take it himself. So that's 1 away, 1 pitch, 1 out. Next up is Hal McRae. Now, I don't get what Hal McRae has done today on the screen, and I'm not sure where to go for that. I'm not going to worry about it right now, but it's not super clear. But that should be a default setting, that on the screen you will see how he's done today. Let's see. Yeah, and I don't get that. So it does have his card, but it doesn't say how he's done today. And I think there's something that I have to click for that, and I don't remember exactly what it was. But I'm not going to get into that right now. It's a long game. We're in the 11th inning. Scores happened early on. We haven't had a score in a long, long time. I think in the first and second inning. A couple of runs scored, 1 for each team, and we're in the top of the 11th now with 1 out. Here's Hal McRae. It's a 44. That's ripped, and that's a drive. That gets past the diving North, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Digging around second and digging for third is Hal McRae, and he is safe with a triple, a 1-out triple here in the top of the 11th by Hal McRae. And North should have, maybe played at a different defensive approach. He dived for a ball that he could have kept for a single, but in the dive, the ball got by him and rolled all the way to the wall. And it was Jackson who got it and threw it in. But by that time, McRae was on at third base, standing with a triple here in the top of the 11th with 1 out. So we're going to bring the infield in for Al Cowens. Who's up next? Let's see. That's another thing. We need a small little lineup so we can take a look. So I don't have to click to get out of that screen. This hasn't been updated in a bunch of years. I've been playing this using this helper, Replay PC helper, for 6 or 7 years at least, and they haven't really updated anything at all so all right, so they're not putting any money into it right now. 42 and 24, first place Oakland, second place Kansas City. Cowens, Vita Pinson, who's a lefty, or Veda, excuse me, not Vita, Veda Pinson, and then Floyd, who's the catcher, who's not really a catcher because I only had 1 catcher on my roster, and I looked that up, and it's true for a couple of games until Buck Martinez showed up at the end of the series. So he's probably on a bus from the minor leagues or from rehab or wherever he was. Okay, so we're going to bring the infield in. Here is Al Cowens against the lefty Paul Lindblad. Gets the sign from Tennis, and here's the pitch, and that is a 43. Infield is in on this one. That's a fly ball center field on a 3. And on a 3, it's going to be a center fielder with a weak arm will allow the run to tag up and to score. North in center field does not. He has an average arm, so that's too shallow for McRae. He fakes it and does not proceed to try to tag up. So here's Veda Pinson, another lefty. Now we could pinch hit for him. Veda Pinson is our right fielder. We do have Scheinblum, but we're not going to bring him in because he can't hit for beans. So we're going to let Veda Pinson bat against Paul Lindblad. And here's the pitch, and that is a 43, and that'll do it.
It's a fly ball, high fly, right field, right center field, north, and Jackson come together, and it's Jackson who makes the catch, and we go to the bottom of the 11th, all tied at 1. Bird is tired, so we're going to pull Bird right here. Bird, and we're going to call on, let me see, 13, 33, 8 for 36, Steve Mingori. Going to call on Steve Mingori. So let's do that. I try to look at the guys who I'm falling behind on using and bring those guys in. This is a lefty, and I also try to use the splits to guide my decision making as well. A combination of who was used, but the most, and who's like lagging right in appearances. That's one thing, and also the condition of the game, time of the game, and so on and so forth. So there's several factors that I take into consideration when doing this. And here's Bert Campaneris, leads off, right-handed hitter. And the pitch from Steve Mingori, who's got his ace stuff, by the way. And that's going to be a 52, so that's a possible error. Oh, no, I don't think it's going to be an error on the shortstop. And it's a diving stop by Patek, back up on his feet, fires the first and in time. Next up is Sal Bando, the pitch. And that is a 63, which will be a swing and a miss. And the slider gets Bando. Next is Reggie Jackson with 2 outs and nobody on. And the pitch. And that is a snake eyes. And that's ball 4. So Reggie walks. I believe that's his second walk of the day. It's going to bring up Joe Rudi. Joe Rudi batted .293 with 22 home runs. He had a good 1974 season. Here he's batting .313 with 11 home runs, so he's he's exactly where he needs to be, pretty much. So here's Rudi against Steve Mingori, and the pitch. Jackson takes off a 25, and that's a bouncer to the shortstop who charges, fires the first in time, and that retires the side. Extra baseball, free baseball, extra inning baseball. Here's Floyd, the catcher. Yeah, we don't have another catcher, and I did not know that, so I pinch ran, and that was a mistake. All right, here's the pitch, and that is a 23, and he strikes out, 1 away. Next up is George Brett. Oh, wait. George Brett. What did I do with this guy? Hold on a second. All right. And the pitch is a Lindblad on the mound. It is a 34, and that'll be a base hit, ground ball, and through the left side. So a base hit for George Brett. That's his second hit of the game, I believe. All right. So Brett is on at first with 1 out, and here's Freddie Patek. Patek is it's a good bunter. I'm not going to bunt. Here's the pitch, and it's a 16, and that's going to be hard hit right at the shortstop. Campaneris flips the green to throw to Burke, and he is out. 6-4-3 double play, the 4th double play of the game. All right. We had 3 in the first 2 innings, and then we haven't had one since, I believe. Pat Burke, lefty hitter against Steve Mingori. Let me see if I can pinch hit. He's a first baseman. Who else can play first base here? Ooh, Haney. Let's do that. Let's pinch hit with Haney. Larry Haney can play first base. So he's going to come in and pinch hit. Here's the pitch from Mingori. That's a 61. Strike 3 called, and he goes down on strikes. Outside corner. Next up is Gene Tennis. Pitch from Mingori, and that's a 56, and that'll be a swing and a miss. Curveball gets Tennis. And here's Angel Mangwal with a 42, and that 42 will be a high fly ball, left field, down the line. Wolford, and he runs it down. Kooky Rojas. So we're going to put Haney at first base. And it will be Kooky Rojas leading off against Paul Lindblad. The pitch, a 33, and that's rip base hit to left. Played on a hop by Rudi, gets it into Campaneris, and Kooky Rojas on at first. We are going to try to bunt with Wolford, and the first one is Not a successful bunt. So that's going to be to the catcher. They're going to go to second for the fielder's choice. So it's going to be a 2-4. Well, the first baseman was going toward 2-6. And Mayberry's up now with a runner on first. Pitch and a 66. That's a deep drive to right, way back, and Jackson to the wall, looks up, and that's gone. 2-run shot, 3-1. Royals here in the top of the 13th inning. It's a meatball, a wheelhouse pitch, and just hung out over the plate. And Mayberry jumped all over it and sent it out deep into the seats here at Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, and the fans are getting up and heading for the exits. So nobody's on. Here is Hal McRae, a righty. Let's see, do we have a righty? We got Odom. We did a lot of bullpen work. I'm going to call on Odom to come in here to replace Lindblad. Face of the righty. All right. And he's an A pitcher. So it's a 3-1 lead for the Kansas City Royals thanks to a 2-run blast by John Mayberry. And it's Hal McRae now. Pitch from Blue Moon with the 23. Strike 3 called. 2 down, and here's Al Cowens. Steps in the box. That's a 33, and that's going to be a hard hit ball, but foul. Next pitch is ball 4. And that's going to put Cowens on with the 33, and that will be a possible stolen base or a pickoff. Nope, it's going to be a stolen base. 33. We already used the 20. There he goes, and that's going to be an error by Tennis, sending him to third. That 1 is going to be an error on Tennis, sending him to third. Yes, it is. So it's a throw over the head of Green, who was Campaneris, who was covering, goes into the outfield, and North runs it down, but Cowens makes it to third. So it's going to be a stolen base and then an error on the catcher, setting him to third. So let's see. So it says, what does it say? It says a walk. Doesn't tell us what happened. Let's see if he got in the box score, if he got a stolen base. Oh yeah, no, he did not get credit for stolen base. Hold on a second. Okay, because I did something wrong. Let me undo that. So Cowens walks, right? Cowens walks, so then it's going to be a stolen base. Let's see, let's go to details. Stolen base. Runner safe at second. And then error. Safe at third on the catcher. So now it should be, there it is. So now it'll read Cowens steals second, E2, Cowens to third base. All right, and that's going to bring up Pinson. And now we're going to the bullpen again. And we're going to bring Darryl Knowles to face the lefty Pinson. Darryl Knowles, and let's roll for him, see what kind of stuff he will have. He will have his A stuff. All right, against Vada Pinson, lefty. All right, the infield is back. The pitch, and that's a 32, which will be a drive down the line, fair ball into the right field corner, and coming around to score quickly is, and easily, is Cowens. Into second base is Pinson with a 2-out RBI double here to give the Royals an extra insurance run. And next up is Floyd, Bobby Floyd. Here's the pitch, and that's a 15. Strike 3 called, and that ends the inning. But the Royals pick up 3 runs here in the top of the 13th. And let's see what happens with the A's in the bottom of the 13th inning. And at this point, we're going to bring in a pinch hitter. It's going to be Kubiak. I like Kubiak, so I bring him in to pinch hit. Green can't hit a lick. Here's the pitch from Mingori, 62, and that'll be a strikeout on a curveball in the dirt. Next up is Bill North with 1 out. Pitch from Mingori at 26, and that's a ground ball up the middle. And that's through for a base hit. And it's a stolen base, automatic steal, but he's not going to steal because of the score. So I'm going to override that. Here's Bert Campaneris, the pitch from Mingori, and that's going to be a 55. That's a drive down the line, and that's a fair ball into the corner. Coming around to score is North, and Campaneris is going to try for 3. Here's the throw to third, and he is safe with a triple, RBI triple for Bert Campaneris with 1 out. And let's see who we got in the bullpen, because Mingori is tired as well. We got a guy named Garber, but he's almost used up. Then we got McDaniel, but he's a starter. Then we got Horner. Okay, Horner. We're going to call on Horner here. All right, he looks pretty good. It's been a long game. Oh, and he's going to have his B stuff. Another lefty. This time he's got his B stuff, and he will be facing the righty Bando. And with 1 out, runner on third. Infield's going to be back. The pitch, and that's a 55. That's going to be a base hit. And coming in to score is Campaneris, and Bando with an RBI single. And not only that, he's going to try to steal. Oh, and that's a possible pickoff by Horner. Horner is a W arm, so it's going to have to be super low for a pickoff to occur. And that's a 3, and that's really low. Let's see if that's a pickoff. He is a W. This is a righty, a lefty though, so he will probably pick off Bando. Base stealing. Where's my pickoff? Pickoff attempt at W, 1 to 3. He's out. He's out of first base. He gets picked off with the tying run. Holy smokes! And the manager, who is the manager? Al Dark, not happy. But that is a pickoff. And it's Reggie Jackson. Hey, I sent him. Here's the pitch. And that's a 51. So on a 20, let's see if it's going to be an error. Ooh, a 13, 51. That's to the third baseman, George Brett. And George Brett, I believe, is an 8 from before. And he's going to make that play, and that'll be the ball game. What an exciting game, and it turned out to be at the end. Yeah, he's an 8, so that's 13. So he'll make that play over to first and in time to get Reggie, and that's the ball game, my friend. Final score, 4 to 3. Mingori gets the win. Paul Lindblad takes the loss. Horner gets the second save. John Mayberry is the MVP. And that's how Fall Classic Baseball plays. Pretty simple, pretty easy. A lot of fun stuff going on. Got a lot of stuff. This was a long game because I had just a lot of pinch hitters. I had a pinch runner at some point. I had a lot of pitchers, for a 70s game. Total, I had 9 pitchers for a 1970s game, which is a whole lot. I don't use 9 pitchers in a month. Offensive wise, a couple of guys, 2 guys for the Royals had 2 hits, Mayberry and Brett, and 2 guys for the A's had 2 hits. It was Campaneris and Norris. And let's see, and that's about it. Dal Canton pitched well. Everybody pitched well. I mean, it was a close game till the end. So yeah, so thanks for watching. This is Tony Porter, and this is Fall Classic Baseball 1974 replay, and I will continue to play this, of course, until I get to the midway point, and then I'll share out. I'll do a program, a show on the stats, the 5-team stats, and how they match up, how they look, comparing them to replay baseball. So this is Tony Porter. Remember to like and subscribe, and comment. Let us know what you think is going on. Let me just adjust this a little bit. That's good. It's looking good. Take care, guys. I will see you guys soon.